Morg Borg is one of those games I don't play a lot, but I collect a lot of things for the game. I'm just so impressed by the independent content creators creating such amazing things to support this game. And Portents of the Degloved Hand is one of those Kickstarters I backed that I'm so happy to have in my collection. So let's get into this. Welcome to Solitary RPG. Portents of the Degloved Hand is a Kickstarter I backed, and it recently was delivered to my house through Exalted Funeral. This is one of those Kickstarters that I've been waiting for. I really was just captivated by the everything about this campaign. Just really liked what the content creators have made. Let's kind of dive into a little bit about the product itself and how to use this product in your Morg Borg games. So this is a Morg Borg supplement because it's just going to add so much more misery to your players. So production quality, just making everything in this coffin shape is just really cool. And the fact that you got all these different little decks inside this holder is awesome. And you might notice this little weird holder of a hand over here. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But let's talk about how it arrived. So it was all in a box, in this little coffin box, and it was shrink wrapped. And this piece of paper was on the bottom of it. Let me slide this a little bit out of the way. Was on the bottom of it. This has all the legal mumbo jumbo that they're required to do, because this is probably going to go to retail, because it has the barcode. It has, no children under 3, suitable for 14 years or older. Just your legal mumbo jumbo stuff. But they didn't print it on the box because they gave us a place to put all this cool information about the product. And I like that. I really appreciate that when companies realize that this is not just a box for holding the product. This is actually a prop for your game, because you can keep this on the table. It's just a cool little coffin. You could actually use the lid as a dice tray. We'll talk about that in a second. On the inside, this bright pink just stands out. Here's where they've got all the copyright legal stuff. So what you can do is take your little piece of paper that came on the back, slip it on the inside, cover up that stuff, and now you've got no kind of BS printing on your product. It all just looks like it belongs in the world of Morg Borg. So very cool. The lid is all done black on black, so got all this glossy image. That's the hand. On the top, you got Exalted Funeral. On the side, Portents of the Degloved Hand. Omen Sacrifice deck. So really cool little piece of art there. Nothing on the very bottom. Morg Borg. And then you got Raven Portents, which is the company that created that. And here's all their information. Raven, if you want to, I guess, hit that code there, and you can go to their website. But Raven Portents are the masterminds behind this, distributed through Exalted Funeral. In the woods of Sharkash, everyone can hear you scream. So, cool stuff. And I like it when companies do this with stickers. First of all, I like stickers. I'm 12 years old and I put stickers on everything, so get over it. So I like stickers, but I like it when they put advertising. There's a Tower House Creative also does the same thing, where they print their information on. So hopefully you can give these away at conventions and things like that. Person gets a cool sticker, but hopefully you get a new customer and they have a way of reaching you. Smart stuff. Gave us another sticker. So we got these 2 stickers from the Kickstarter, which is cool. And then we got some dice and things. But before we get into that kind of information, let's talk about this. So during the campaign, we were sent an STL file of this little hand card deck holder as a prop for the game, and my buddy Cody 3D printed it up out of solid resin, so it's not hollow. It's a solid chunk of resin, and it's got some weight to it. And then I painted it all up, added a little flocking to it, And it's just really cool because it actually holds the whole deck box. So when you got it all put together, you can actually put it in there and you can display this on your shelf and be proud of it. And here is supposed to be for card holding. So when you have your card, if you're, and we'll talk about some of the cards and everything in just a second, but this is a way to hold your cards. That's why the tip of the fingernails are all flattened so the card lays up against it. Really cool stuff. This was a great STL file according to my buddy who printed it. Said it had great supports and stuff. I don't know anything about 3D printing. I don't need another hobby. So I just pay him to do it. So, and I think he used like a lot of resin to make this happen because it's so solid. But yeah, this was just a surprise. I wasn't expecting this as part of the Kickstarter. I think it was just something they came up with. I've seen other people printing theirs out and having them on display. Yeah, there you go. Let's get into the dice real quick. So these are the dice that come with the game. You get a D2 and you get a D4. And the D4s are also listed. So 1 is disaster, 2 is disease, 3 is destruction, and 4 is death. And those all correlate with the cards in this holder. And then you got the D2. You're going to notice I got these yellow ones. I ordered extra dice. I wanted to put 2 of them in my Morg Borg dice collection because these are just D2s, which I don't have any like D2s other than flipping a coin. So it's just kind of cool to have them. And I just have like this bucket of yellow dice that I use for Morg Borg, and that's basically it. You're going to notice these look like different because they're actually glow in the dark. Look at that. Now you're still seeing some light reflection from my monitor, but you can kind of get the idea that these are glow in the dark. Very cool. So those are the dice. They're not made, I don't know what they're made out of, but they're not made of plastic, or I don't know. It just sounds like glass or clay or something. They don't sound like plastic. I'm very familiar with plastic dice because I have a lot of them. They just sound different. So very cool. So what exactly is Portents of the Degloved Hands? What this supplement does is it gives your characters, your PCs, some sort of a benefit during gameplay. However, it's followed by a negative during gameplay. So let me read the instructions on part 1 here. Recommended that readings be limited to 1 per game session or 1 per willing player per session. Whatever you choose, it doesn't matter. Everyone will be miserable regardless. And that is Morg Borg in a nutshell. Then it talks about your deck selection. So basically you roll the D4. I rolled Destruction, which is 3. You would pull out the Destruction deck, and then somebody would do the reading for you. And on the back side of this, they talk about part 2, drawing your fate. So in the game or in your session, somebody's going to be the reader. And I like this because it kind of gives us an opportunity to create a new character type for the Morg Borg setting as a reader or as a fortune teller or as whatever you want to call the new character type. But this person is especially skilled at reading these cards and telling people's fortune or giving them their portents. However, they could also be manipulators because some of these are really bad. So that's why I kind of like it. It's like, yes, I got this cool thing, but this really bad thing is going to happen to me. So I like this idea of creating a new character type as someone as a reader. But during the game, someone's going to be a reader, and they would then pull the deck out and come up with their way of reading the cards. So they give some basic suggestions here, but you can get very creative with it. All you got to do is go look at all of the different like tarot card reading styles, and maybe each deck, depending on which deck they pull, will determine how you read the cards. So that could be kind of cool. Just add a little bit, make it more of just, instead of just pulling a card and going, here you go, have a nice day. Kind of make it part of the game and add some suspense, and maybe you're flipping cards and maybe on the 5th card is when they get, that's their actual one. So you can, I don't know, you can have some fun. I think it could be a great thing. That's basically how it works. It's not a complicated supplement. This, on the other hand, this is a little bit different. Still not complicated, but you can kind of, they call it the orgy. Um, in order to have a reading, either as an individual or as a group, you have to sacrifice an omen. And if you're doing the group reading, then the group, everybody has to sacrifice an omen, and that's where the D2 comes into play. You roll the D2, and that's the omen you're going to get. You only have 2, so that's why you have a D2. And that's the omen you get for the group. And then the group can decide when to use that. And it's just really cool. But the omen sacrifice is the resource you have to give up to have the reading. Really cool. And what they did also is they created kind of like a solo play concept. So you can roll the 2 dice. If you roll a 2 on the D2, you get to pick 2 cards from the death or whatever you rolled deck. So kind of cool that they thought of us solo players, and Morg Borg has a big solo community, especially with all these solo material out there. So that's what these cards are. So really neat stuff. So let's just do kind of a basic reading. So we can use our lid as our dice tray. Very cool, very smart. We rolled a 2, which will be disease. We can now set that all off to the side. Your reader would pull out the deck of disease, and this is where they can get really creative with how they handle the cards. Do they got to lay out like a piece of silk on the table, and then they start reading, maybe light a candle? Like, that's what I really like about this deck, is it really opens up this added part to the game. Like, you can actually make it a moment and actually have some fun with it. And for solo playing, like, you could just play a reader, and as a reader, you just sit at a tavern and you got a table in the corner and you're doing all this seance like reading stuff or whatever you want to call it. And you can just have a lot of fun, but maybe you're also a little bit of a swindler, and you read people better than you read cards. And when someone comes up, you kind of read the person. Maybe you can tell if they've got some money in their pockets and they're willing to let go of some of that for a good portents. Or maybe, I don't know, you don't like the person, and so you give them a bad one to make them have a bad day. You can just have some fun with that concept. However you're going to do it, it could just be you flip a card and you talk about it, or maybe you have some kind of a layout pattern that you have to do to, and then you just boom, this is the card you get, and this is a cool card, Maggot Mouth. Your tongue becomes a massive wriggling maggot from which a crow-sized horsefly emerges and attacks an enemy until killed. D6 damage on bites, HP 2. The maggot flesh rots and you never speak again. So that's what these portents are all about. Like, you get this really cool thing that you get to play out in your game. However, there's a little bit of a negative, and the reader can just do whatever they want. Like, you could just have a lot of fun with the reading part of it. And you're also going to notice on the cards, they did a solid core paper so that the edges are colored as well. It's not just white, so it just adds to the quality. Almost kind of wonder why they didn't go with color on the inside of the deck holders. But I think what they did is phenomenal. You got these 4 different decks. I'm not going to pull out all these cards and start showing them to you, because part of the excitement of Portents of the Degloved Hand is you discovering these cards. It's just like a choose your own adventure book or anything else. Once you read it, you kind of know. It kind of takes away, and this is all about reading. And if somebody in your group wants to be the reader, they are the only ones that get the deck. The GM doesn't get the deck. It's just the reader. And the reader is the one that will make all of the readings and just have some fun with it. And then when you're done, everything fits nicely back in the box. You can only put 2 of the D4s in. I can't put any of my extra D4s in there. You can put your other cards on top. You tuck this all away, and then you got this cool display. If you got the STL file that this can go on, I can put one of the dice in here, the other one can be held in the hand. If I balance it just right, I can kind of get it to hold in the hand. I'm going to tip it back so you can see it. Yeah, look at that. And that's how it's going to be displayed on my shelf. I got the cool stickers that I will put in my sticker collection until I can find an appropriate place to put these. And I also have my extra two D2s to throw into my Morg Borg dice collection. Yeah, that was a look at Portents of the Degloved Hand. I'm really excited about this product. I think it adds a lot. I'm probably going to explore creating that reader class or that character type, and maybe just sit in a bar, sit in a tavern, or sit in a muddy pit and just do readings for people for copper and survival, and probably be better reading the people than the cards. And if I notice they have some extra money in their pocket, maybe I fleece them out of some of that money. So anyways, thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye.